Hi, my name is Enna Chow, and I'm the scenic designer for Mother of God. I, first and foremost, am a musical theater nerd fan, so fell in love with it from that aspect first of just like, wow, the story is very cool, and the music is incredible. And then as I've gone on to be a part of the pre-production process and actually like fleshing out this production as a live performance, I've really gotten to really appreciate her journey as a woman who in a society that's like very much full of pressures and outside influences in her life that has kind of crafted her to then be able to take some autonomy and decide for herself what she wants to be, and be it that a selfless act to dedicate herself to God. I think is a really interesting story to say. I don't think many stories take on that kind of twist to telling a woman's story. This started all the way back in April. I think that's when Christian Magby called me and was like, hey, do you want to do this show? Which I was immediately like, yes. Although, fun fact, this is my first ever professional production I've ever done. I only scenic designed once another time, and that was one time in college. And it has been 5 years since I've done that. So this was my big return to like working in theater. I've spent the last 5 years working in film. So coming back to this was really exciting for me because it's one of the most enjoyable mediums to me. Like, it's very close to my heart. I love the singing, dancing aspect. The larger than life aspect of it has always been great to me. So obviously script first. There's a picture of it actually. It's sitting down at a cafe, script, iPad, coffee, and it's me just like breaking down the different locations in the script. What are the major themes that are picked up? What are the big character conflicts, relationships that are really need to be highlighted in the story? So I really started off with highlighting things like, you know, light versus darkness, the passing of time, and like awakenings. And one thing I picked up really early on was like the idea of home and belonging, which is very much what Mary searches for a lot of the story. And so if you watch the show, you can see a lot of triangular shapes, because I like the idea of like denoting that sort of like roof and like safety and like a shelter. And so that's something that comes into play a lot in the designs that I pitched early on, that kind of stuck through the entire process. And from there, from these little pencil sketches, I go to something more digital and tangible. So I start with the 2D sketches in Procreate, where I draw the stage and all the different scenes and the different scene transitions and setups. And then I move on to 3D modeling it in SketchUp, actually building the elements in my computer, moving them around, adjusting sizes, and making them practical and real. Then from there, I put it on paper in the form of blueprints or plans that then get handed off to construction to build and put on stage in real life, which is always my favorite part of working in visual media, is going from something that existed in your brain to seeing it like outside in real life and being able to touch it is like my favorite part of the job. When I first read the script, it was guidance, obviously, because what a way to end your first act. I always have a soft spot for the protagonist I want songs, so something for me was also one of my favorites very quickly. But I think now He Is Among Us is the best song of the show. I want it on my Spotify. I just want to listen to it like all day. It's so good, and every time I watch them perform it, it's a treat because they sound so good. They sound amazing. The harmonies and everything are incredible. Circling back to me being a music fan first and foremost, so that's very clear. This is probably the most involved I've been in the shaping of a show, because, you know, when most people work on any sort of theatrical production, it's something that existing. To do something original like this, it's constantly responding to like seeing the actors and seeing new music that gets composed during the workshop and brought into play. It's talking to the other designers and creatives, and so it was a lot more shifting as we were building. I don't think I've ever experienced that as much of that as like adapting as we were progressing, especially with the set pieces. A lot of them, their uses got changed from my initial designs to what you finally see on stage. I don't think I've ever been such a big fan of the music. Like, it's crazy to be able to work on something that you're just like excited to be around. And I know everyone's trying to be professional and like has this, we're here to do a job, but I'm just sitting in the audience just having a great time. Like once they start singing, they're like, all's good. Just be open and like embrace all of the emotional journeys it takes you on, because it's not just song, dance, and happy, and it's not just a sad story either. It's kind of like everything, and it takes you on this wild ride. So I think for anyone coming to see the show, they should just be prepared for some amazing talent, and to watch people expose parts of their soul on stage, because that's really what they do, quite literally. To watch them like kind of flesh out real people on stages who used to be on paper is quite magical. Yeah. In terms of the scenic design, it's there to kind of help along. It's there to help the story. It's there to like kind of augment whatever emotion you're feeling, be it like happiness or pain. Like, for example, the way we got to Nazareth, the big tent that you see in the opening of the show with the fabric strips coming down, I came up with that purely as a response to watching the first workshop. I was watching them sing that song, Will They Be Darkness, and immediately the image of the angel wings like came in to my head, and I was like, that's what I want the audience to see when they're listening to this song, of this angel visiting a regular person. You're just in your house and this angel appears to you, and this entire monologue that you're supposed to have in your head, I want this to be the visual that goes along with it. And so that's just an example of what I hope my work's able to bring to the table in terms of this production. See it more than once, honestly. I've seen the show many times now, from a table read to opening night, and it's different every time. And it's not just because of their new songs that Christian has added and dialogue changes. No, like, the actors do something different every night, which is the perk of live theater. They make it interesting and real every time they step on stage. So yeah, I feel like as a show that's everyone thinks they know, it's really a musical that has so many surprises in it, not just through the show but through multiple viewings of it. So yeah, it really holds up, and I hope people get to listen to this music and like kind of see these people put on this show for like years to come, because it really deserves that. It's so good.